And we are back with an all-new episode of Keep It. I'm Ira Madison III.
I'm Louis Fertel. I'm always a bit jarred to the bone when we wear the exact same color palette. We both did a little navy and then a little sprinkle of red on it. You're wearing a Hayley Williams shirt. I understand she is the vocalist for Paramore. I'm just doing a typical... I'm wearing a shirt that looks like one of the Peanuts characters wear it.
This is her new merch. It says Hayley Williams is turning your children gay.
Oh, that's cute and probably true. At least own up to it.
You won a WGA award.
Can you believe it? I am befuddled. I mean, I'm thrilled, and also the show is great. But yeah, over the weekend, I was nominated for a WGA award for with the writers of Pop Culture Jeopardy for a quiz and audience participation show. We were up against one other show, which is called Jeopardy. And if you know anything about these two shows, they're similar. And then also, most of the writers of Pop Culture Jeopardy, save me and a couple of others, are also writers for Jeopardy. So they were mostly double nominees. And yet, we defeated Jeopardy. So in a way, it was an insult to Jeopardy that another Jeopardy won. And regular Jeopardy has not won this award in 10 years. And I want to be clear, it is definitely the most prestigious game show of all time.
What's been up against it in the past 10 years?
The Chase was up last year, a show I enjoy. But just I think they always kind of pick the newer thing. They just assume Jeopardy will always be there. So anyway, I feel a little bit bad defeating my favorite TV show of all time. But at the same time, I can't help my, masculine power and reach.
It's the power of Colin Jost.
Yes, precisely. He might win the game show Emmy this year. I sort of the game show host Emmy. I'm predicting that.
Oh, I want to see those teeth just shining on stage.
He's really got that Mentadent look. Yeah.
I'm a national bestseller now.
Of what? Drugs?
Yes. I'm selling 6mm.
Oh, okay. Get your life, girl. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was nice seeing that in USA Today.
Which is a newspaper, yes.
Yeah. I did not know it still existed, actually.
They're very real news, but also the front page might be, Miley Cyrus was great at the VMAs last night. They're kind of Entertainment Tonight sometimes.
I just feel like saying the words USA Today currently would send a chill down your spine.
Right. Yeah. No. Congrats to you. Now, here's the thing. I feel like writing a book is nothing but an arduous process, an ongoing, endless process. Does getting on the bestseller list soften the memory of that and make you want to write more?
I do want to write more. I think the process of writing it for 4 fucking years is the process of now I need something else to do because it's over. I think listeners know. I think you know. I think all my friends know. 4 years of being working on this book, and then the book's coming out, and now what else am I supposed to talk about?
No, right. I hope you have other thoughts. I think I would deplete all of mine in a book. I would write my little, poem Sistina about Cate Blanchett, and then that would be the end of me. There's nothing left to know about me.
Baby, she's going to file that restraining order.
Really, any actress is not safe. I feel bad.
Letters to Kate.
Yeah. Oh, you're referencing, you were at a Minneapolis stop of your book tour, and a bunch of University of Iowa alums were there, including one of my friends who is one of the pop culture knowers of all time, Maren Fluker. When I started at the Daily Iowan, the newspaper at the University of Iowa, she was there. And I remember she knew I was a Madonna fan, and she quoted Madonna to me. She goes, "Everybody's entitled to my opinion." And I, at that moment, realized, oh my God, there are people who know as much as I do in this world. So that you got to meet her is pretty rad.
I want to say the best part of the tour, and Louis got to experience this when we did a live show in Boston, which, by the way, is uploaded to the podcast feed now. You can listen to it or watch it on YouTube. Just meeting all of our Keep It fans who've been listening for far too long.
Yeah, since the beginning, which is, by the way, Cretaceous era.
But Minneapolis really brought out the people who are connected to Louis Vertel. There are people who went to college with him. One girl said she works with your dad.
That's wild. I was say my dad lives in Illinois. The whole Midwest doesn't know each other. It's not like the gay community. You know what I mean?
But I have even better news for you of someone who came in line in Minneapolis. Josh Hartnett's sister.
Why didn't I guess that?
She said she always loves when we're talking about the Hartnett Renaissance on the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's an awesome... He was amazing in that M. Night Shyamalan movie. That was so
Trap.
Zany, Trap. That we also put Haley Mills in, and I assume we did that because she was once on The Parent Trap, and we thought, why not trap her again?
That's probably exactly how M. Night's brain works.
I feel like it must be, because I'm not saying Haley Mills isn't a good actress, but why would she come to mind? It just seems very crazy.
I feel like we still have not gotten the Hartnett Renaissance that we deserve.
And he was on that show I haven't seen, Peaky Blinders, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He did that. He was in the Chris Nolan movie, Oppenheimer.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes. Remember when we put Brendan Fraser in that? And we're like, well, you'll follow up the Oscar win with this. And then we sat him down and he just said, I have to scream this whole movie. I don't know.
It also feels like it is going in the opposite direction of a Hartnett Renaissance in the fact that we're getting a reboot of The Faculty being produced by Robert Rodriguez still.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted a sequel.
Was The Faculty not also a Kevin Williamson joint?
Yeah, he wrote it.
Well, I'll just say more Kevin Williamson in the world is nothing but a good thing. Is he involved with the next Scream chapter?
I'm actually in Scream 7, Louis.
Oh, yeah? They cast you? It's like one of those, it's like Knives Out 4 when they just cast an entire hemisphere.
I'm in Scream 7, and I am also in Euphoria Season 3.
Oh, lucky you. My God.
The only things happening in Hollywood right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're also discussing, and this is Louis culture, everyone.
You seem pissed.
SNL 50.
Which was like an entire weekend of content. It was a jubilee.
I want to say that I had friends in town for SNL 50, and I have no idea when it was. It seemed like there was a different SNL 50 thing happening every single night this week.
I also feel very boomerish about this. I'm so sorry to denigrate the whole generation. I thought the thing airing on Friday was the whole SNL 50 thing. Like they did a concert, and I said, this is how we're celebrating the 50th? Weird. I remember Lauryn Hill on SNL, but I don't know that she's crucial to my memory of SNL. But that was just night one. And then we had actual SNL, and then we had the 50th, which was I believe, 13-hour festival of SNL characters.
Well, it was very important to see Lauryn Hill performing because that was her finally making it for her scheduled appearance.
Right. Oh, she was supposed to be there in 1998. Yeah.
Yeah, the show itself was long as hell, but we will get into the highlights and the lowlights and everything in between. We will be right back with more Keep It.
Keep It is brought to you by Factor. Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can always prioritize your nutrition no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, and with 40 options across the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. So whether you're calorie smart, protein plus, or keto, there's always a choice for you. And if you're a snacker, Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. I know this because I have gotten Factor for years. It is showing up at my house right now. In fact, we Keep It on Tuesdays, and that's routinely when I get my shipment. So I'm usually sitting here impatient, waiting to get home so I could put the Factor meals in the fridge. So Ira, say whatever it is you need to say so I can get on with my life.
Okay, well, I mean, I had no idea that you were such a Factor fiend.
That's right, a Factrix, if you will.
Miss Factor. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast and use code Factor Podcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code Factor Podcast at factormeals.com/Factor Podcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, what are some of your relationship green flags, Lewis?
Oh, Jesus. That would require me being in one. And as you know, not really my thing.
Okay, that's a red flag.
Okay.
And if you're not sure what a red flag actually is, therapy can help you figure it out, actively practice in your relationships, and embody green flag energy because you need it.
I don't want to say therapy is entertaining, but I have to say, when I've been in a therapy session, I'm shocked what comes up, because guess who's doing most of the talking? Me. It's like I don't even know what I want to talk about, and then it happens.
Oh, is this therapy then?
Oh God, if I'm looking to you for help, I do indeed need better help. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, and they have a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. And if the first therapist you meet isn't a match, you can easily switch anytime at no extra cost. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/keepit to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/keepit.
On Sunday, SNL aired its 50th anniversary extravaganza. It was 3 hours full of everyone who's anyone in entertainment. And now we're going to dive into the best and worst moments of the show, plus the 17 other projects they've squeezed out of this anniversary.
Quite, yes. Let's start with Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean. I am just shocked to have seen that. I can't believe they can. I mean, like, that's. If you think like Simon and Garfunkel have had feuds over the years, like Wyclef and Lauren, I was nervous for everybody involved.
The concert aired on Friday, and I feel like I thought you already said that you thought that was the entire SNL 50 because I don't know why it aired on Sunday.
Right. Think of the title. Where does it belong? The clues are there.
But getting into the actual show itself, I found it to be kind of like a regular episode of SNL in the sense that there's some stuff that I really loved, and then there were some sketches that I did some stuff in the kitchen during.
Right. Well, also, they were jam-packing all these celebrities into all these sketches, which are mostly familiar old sketches they were bringing back for the occasion. Because it was such a big episode, though, it's like they didn't feel particularly obligated to play it hard for laughs. Like the celebrities involved could kind of opt out mid-sketch and sort of wink or, you know, break character or just not commit fully. And so things that should have been like soaring triumphs for me, like Meryl Streep finally appearing for the first time ever on SNL playing the Kate McKinnon alien abductee character's mother. Mm-hmm. That was amusing, and she had some line deliveries that were fun, and also Meryl is snatched. But it felt like still could have been funnier and better rehearsed.
Well, the only shortcake she's been eating lately is Martin.
Eating it. I don't need to be thinking about that. Those Canadian cakes clapping all over her.
Maple syrup everywhere.
Oh, Jesus.
She's really never been on SNL?
No. And of course, she's probably been asked 25,000 times over the years and turns it down for whatever reason. But yes, she was finally there because that pesky boyfriend of hers, Martin Short, was a cast member. And by the way, a cast member for one season on SNL.
I guess once you become actually famous after the fact, they start to reclaim you.
Yes, precisely.
But going back to what you were saying about celebrities who were just sort of there and like their moments sort of fell flat, Tom Hanks was hilarious in his first appearance on Black Jeopardy, and then for this one, he was just sort of there.
Right. Well, it started out really strong because they had Eddie Murphy playing Tracy Morgan, and Eddie Murphy committed. If you remember him on the SNL 40, he seems sort of aloof and not particularly thrilled to be there. Here, he played Tracy Morgan alongside Tracy Morgan playing a regular Black Jeopardy contestant, and they were cracking each other up. That was fun to see. And then midway through the sketch, Eddie was traded out for Tom Hanks as this character, and it was just a very bizarre coda for that sketch. Like, it did not belong there.
It was sort of, remember the time that he played in this sketch and it was funny? You can laugh about it.
Yeah, we're bringing it back, and it's going to be worse. How about that?
Yeah. One of the bits in that too was the fact that Black people don't really know SNL, and I did love that because it's very true.
They brought up In Living Color in the sketch, and I was thrilled to hear it because I don't remember the last time that came up on SNL.
What else? What were some of your other favorites on the show?
Well, during the actual concert on Friday, the aforementioned concert, do you know who did not miss a beat the entire time? And this includes her appearances on Sunday too. Anna Gasteyer. When
Yes.
she and Will Ferrell
Perfect.
were doing that old Marty Culp and Bobby Mohan Culp thing where they are like church entertainers who incorporate new songs and just sing them straight. It's like there's something so true about those characters where it's like they just want to connect with the kids and like be on their level, and if they have no sense of being embarrassed by what they are doing. Literally what Anna Gasteyer is just doing with her hands, singing these songs by like Doechii. So funny. It's so suburban and sincere and kind of loving in a way, and oblivious to the stupidity of what she is doing. She really, I mean, like, this is somebody who has obviously been on Broadway, has a phenomenal singing voice, and as a child was a violin prodigy. She's lived like 20 lives. It was just amazing to see her. And I have to say, something I thought about all during this special is we routinely, the scuttlebutt about SNL is your favorite era is the one that happened when you were in high school, right? Or the era when you were obsessed with it, when you were coming into learning comedy or whatever. I'm sorry, baby. It's not true. I think I spent the entire time being like, the generation I grew up with are the funniest people who ever did this show. Talking about her and Molly Shannon and Will Ferrell and all those guys having, one, such good energy around each other. And two, it was never just about boys being around the boys, which I'm sorry is sort of the lingering stench from the Chris Farley, Adam Sandler era for me.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely love Anna Gasteyer, who I will point out is my first Elphaba.
Oh, okay. Which is why you're such a refined cultural critic now.
Yes. She was also great on Watch What Happens Live. Andy Cohen did a episode that was just sort of the women of SNL. It was her, Rachel Drash, Cecily Strong, Sherry O'Terry, and Lorraine Newman. And they were hilarious. And they were game for doing like a reading of a scene from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that was perfect.
Excuse me. I saw that scene, and first of all, you know that housewife shit isn't for me. I think it's for, I think it's for people who like live like Oscar the Grouch, you know, people, you know. And they were unbelievable. Sherry O'Terry played it like at a Madeline Kahn high pitch the entire time, full shriek. Hilarious. It's hard to pick a favorite in that scene. Everybody was so connected and going so hard. That also format is very perfect for Rachel Dratch, who loves just being a fucking freak.
I want to say actually that highlighted a thing that I feel like SNL could probably do a bit better. I mean, they were literally just reading a scene from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but it's a scene that went viral. It's a scene that feels in the zeitgeist. You know, and it feels young skewer, like gay people watch it, women watch it. And I feel like whenever SNL does do gay jokes, it's always some variation of, isn't it funny that gay people say slay the house down boots sometime, you know?
I am laughing. It is funny that they say that. But no, I always feel like, again, that's like the difficulty of writing for SNL is because the definition of pop culture is so changing, of things that are actually unavoidable that they would have to make a sketch about. You know, like what we consume is so fragmented now. Like there's an entire generation below us that kind of barely knows who Tom Hanks is, for example. And things that like gay things that get into the zeitgeist, it's sort of like, but your parents in the Midwest still don't know what that is. You know, it's like it's never really fully mainstream. And that when they incorporate those things, it's just such a high barrier to clear, like explaining gay niche things to an audience that would otherwise never run into it and has no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, Black Jeopardy is very funny at times. But even that is still sort of explaining Black lingo.
Yeah, right. Not like I thought it was really funny though when they were saying this episode is sponsored by a plate, and they like with the visual and like the kind of explanation. I mean, it literally is sort of almost like an Urban Dictionary definition of something you're reading on the screen. But when they find conduits to just fully explain something and it's still funny, that really is, I think, where they shine.
Now, I will say brought to you by the Who All Gonna Be There app. That is one of my favorite things about Partiful.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Checking the guest list.
I don't love to say the word partiful, but the calming appearance in the app, I do enjoy that.
So speaking of the celebrity guests, one of my actual favorite sketches was the audience Q&A hosted by Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, even though it was a little exhausting every time a celebrity stood up and then we had to listen to like a minute of applause.
Right. Oh no, I'm one of my pet peeves in all of television, especially game shows, is too much applauding. I don't want to be hearing that. It's okay on Wheel of Fortune because we need something to do while Vanna gets to the letters. But otherwise, it's time wasting.
Yeah. Funny Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds joke.
Yes. What did Tina Fey say? How's it going with you? And she goes, and he says, what have you heard?
Yeah. Note that he was the one who made the joke. And he was the only one who stood.
Oh, no. Blake Lively was just there. She was doing the Kate Middleton
smiling.
wave and walk away. Yeah.
She was silent.
Yes.
Not
Though I have to say, I will say about the celebrities who were there, some of them also, I understand that they maybe have hosted SNL at one point, but they also, a lot of people there didn't spiritually feel like they belonged there. There was a sketch where Kristen Wiig did that Lawrence Welk character with the tiny hands who's disgusting. And other people in the sketch were Anna Gasteyer, great. Scarlett Johansson, who's hosted the show a lot of times and obviously is married to Colin Jost. Kim Kardashian was in that sketch. Girl, who wants her there? I don't need her comedy chops on the screen. I know you didn't stop it at Groundlings before this.
Can you imagine, though?
She would do it. I think she's very game for whatever.
That was shocking seeing her there, too, but it really just was sort of a parade of celebrities.
Right. I really enjoyed during that Q&A Julia Louis-Dreyfus in the audience. Who
fucking hilarious,
yes,
as always.
And
Adam Driver.
What a corny ass stupid bitch. She's like, this dog is blind. I'm here to explain everything to the dog.
But Adam Driver committing to that, just glowering the whole time. I mean, I love him, and I actually feel like we don't see enough of his funny side.
Yes. Also, I think ultimately love actors who take shit too seriously. You know, I mean, I would prefer it to the alternative where you're just our best friend all the time. Like people who seem kind of prickly. I think maybe even women are probably going to get more harshly graded for being self-serious actors all the time. But I'm sorry, like we need more Isabelle Huppert. You know, just people who are like, actually, like, did you see what she was just asked over the weekend? Or it's going viral now. Isabelle Huppert on French cinema. She was asked, do you think French cinema is good? Her response, it exists. It is better than nothing. May she slay. Remember when we got to interview her? What planet was that
on? Zach Galifianakis in that was jarring because where the hell has he been?
Would love to know. I mean, Between Two Ferns is like one of the few things 2010's internet provided in a great way.
And I feel like it would still be funny today, too.
Yeah, he must have just gotten sick of it. And they did the movie and stuff.
Some old cast members that I really love seeing. Tim Meadows.
Oh, looks sensational. By the way, in the new Mean Girls, the one from last year where he played...
He's like the funny part.
I thought all of his lines were way better than the first Mean Girls, and he was still hilarious. That's somebody where he should be in more high-profile stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's probably just enjoying his money and not needing to work. Otherwise, we'd probably see him more.
Yeah. And he also seems very beloved among those cast members, too.
Yeah. I should revisit The Ladies' Man.
I enjoyed it at the time. I believe The Ladies' Man is one of the main sketches written by Harper from the Will and Harper documentary. That's one of her specialties on the show.
Oh, and Fred Armisen in that sketch.
Fred Armisen is constantly funny. I'm so sorry.
Always funny.
That Prince impersonation is an A+.
I know we say that Gwen Stefani is the queen of cultural appropriation, but Fred Armisen can be my king because I have honestly never minded him playing any race on SNL.
Yeah, you're right. He sort of just weaves into whatever he wants, huh? I never really
you
thought
buy
about it.
You buy it every time.
Yeah, right. But I mean, also that's hard, silly. Like he would be somebody who I think would play Adam Driver very funny.
Yes, no, I really was just a reminder that that specific era of SNL is so funny, and I think it's also it was the commitment to character work.
Yeah,
You know?
right. No, he is always he's like a Yale level sketch actor, and it's about a sketch silliness. It's very silly.
I think that current SNL, the sketches that tend to go viral more end up being the one where someone is actually playing like a character. Like when Ego plays that woman who is always like trying to cut the hard steak or whatever at the table.
Oh, right. Yes.
Something like that. You know, when someone is committed to a character, I really feel like you said our era of SNL that we grew up with was funnier. And I feel like that was these people playing characters. When I was watching Watch What Happens Live and Andy Cohen is asking the women, like, what was the favorite character that the woman next to you played? You know, like they were able to name so many different people. And I would be hard pressed to name a single character that most of the current cast has.
I also don't generally like how they set up their characters nowadays, whereas there's always one crazy person, and then somebody, and it's usually Keenan, but it can be anybody, is just like, what about that character? I feel like they need new ways to set up the characters.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have the cheerleaders with Sherry O'Terry and Will Ferrell, and they were both fucking nuts.
Yeah. Also, by the way, again, something I love about Sherry O'Terry, she was willing to be hard annoying. Like it was not cute. It was not winking. It was not I'm half stepping this. She was truthfully portraying somebody who had no like social read and utterly earnest.
Honestly, I feel like the change in cinema has really sort of affected SNL in some way because we've lost that SNL character to movie pipeline. So there's really not a need to continue to hammer home an SNL character in the hopes that they become popular enough that you can make like a Mango movie, you know? You can make a It's Pat. You can make a Mary Catherine Gallagher superstar. Now I feel like they're always looking for different or sort of original movies for cast members to star in. And so maybe that's why we've lost the art of a good character that you see all the time.
But speaking of Molly Shannon, when she did the Sally O'Malley with Emma Stone, just what is it about lunging in place and wearing a red jumper that is so funny? And
I'm
gross.
50.
Yeah. 50, book 'em, Dano. Yeah.
That was also, I mean, first of all, do kids watch SNL now? But do people quote SNL anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I do think quoting culture is something we grew up with. Like, think of the kid in school who is constantly quoting The Simpsons, for example. Are people doing that
A loser.
now? Yeah. It wasn't me, but...
well, I mean, people quote Real Housewives.
True. That's what gay people quote, I will say. And I always feel like it's kind of a flop because you need the entire circumstance of what's happening in the scene to understand why they said the things they said. So... Same losers, different clothes.
You know what? Not everyone has the art of using a meme or pop culture reference and still having it make sense in the conversation without other people knowing the context. You know, when I make a reference, you know,
yes,
children love it at graduations, weddings, funerals.
What are children doing at graduations?
For us, probably singing "I Believe I Can Fly."
Yeah. Oh, right. No, my 8th grade graduation song was "Hero," which was like 6 years old at the time. Why did we pick "Hero"? Who's the hero?
Don't ask me about 9/11.
Okay, what else did I love? The Weekend Update special. I enjoyed seeing Bill Murray appear, but I have to say, so he listed the 10 greatest anchors of all time, and the funniest part was when he said, we'll start with the greatest black anchor of all time, and it was just Michael Che, and then they moved on. So it was funny. But it made me long for more of Jane Curtin, who attended the SNL 50 special, but then didn't perform at all. She was in the closing credits holding up a picture of Gilda Radner with Lorraine Newman in the back. By the way, Lorraine Newman is cool as hell. I was on a podcast with her. Fucking love her. She was in a sketch with Pete Davidson where he's that dim-witted, okay, guy. And she's waxing poetic about her time backstage at SNL. That was sort of a thankless character, and she played it really well.
Was there anyone you felt like you know, as an SNL aficionado, that you missed?
I missed Nora Dunn from the 80s. I felt like the 80s could have been a little bit better represented at SNL because I saw on the red carpet, and I saw Bowen Yang talking about this with Matt Rogers, who was doing a lot of the pre-show interviews on Peacock. They had like quote unquote obscure cast members there, like Gail Mathias and Denny Dillon, people who were there during the 5-year period where Lorne had left in the early 80s. And like, that's really cool. I wish we had seen some more of those people, even though, you know, they're not as famous as Kim Kardashian, my favorite comedy star.
Cleghorn?
You cannot even bring up Ellen Cleghorn without me jumping out of my seat. I fucking love her. One of my favorite stand-up jokes. My friend bought a dog. I said, you give me $500, I'll shit on your carpet.
I need to find out if the old episodes of Cleghorn, her sitcom, are on YouTube.
Exclamation point. Yeah. Was that a WB show?
Yeah.
No, also, she's so gorgeous, too.
I also feel like there were some other like celebrities who I feel like were more SNL and could have really been there, but also maybe they just weren't available.
Well,
you know?
also, I'm sure a lot of these people were at the 40th and then didn't really want to come to the 50th. I will say, anybody who cares about SNL has been in this game for like so long now. And I feel like something this special struggled with was we all remember the last few reunions really well. You know, there's not much you can do beyond what they've already done.
Well, I mean, that was especially highlighted probably in, I don't know if you've read this in New York Magazine over the weekend, the reply all thread to the Lorne Michaels book event.
No.
On Thursday, New Yorker editor Susan Morrison sent out a mass email invitation to an event that she was having about the biography of Lorne Michaels. She was going to be chatting with Emily Nussbaum at McNally Jackson and asked people would they like to reserve just a seat or a book along with it. You know, typical book tour shit.
Sure.
People started replying all to it. Saying that they were sorry to miss the event. And then you had people like Tina Fey and stuff like jumping in, like making fun of people replying all when she was telling them not to reply. But people like Graydon Carter said he would try to make the 2 parties he'd been invited to for this book, along with SNL's 50th anniversary celebration on Sunday night, and wrote, honestly, I have my own life. I cannot devote any more time to Lorne.
This just became like a bonanza of people replying all.
I think really with the 40th, that was one thing. And the 50th, like we said, there was so much shit going on. And then also Lorne Michaels' memoir is out, you know, and you're doing events and parties for that too. And, you know, like people get tired of parties.
Yeah, right. Namely,
even me, you know, like sometimes you're just like, I'm staying home.
That reminds me of one of my favorite quotes about award season, which was from Rooney Mara. And she said the year she was up for Carol and lost every award to Alicia Vikander in The Danish Girl. She says it feels like you're spending 3 months celebrating somebody else's birthday. And that's what that sounds like to me.
That is a lovely interview I would love to have with several people who are sort of like, when you're in an award season and there's one person winning every fucking award, it's sort of, why am I nominated?
Yeah, no, we had Anna Kendrick here talking about the year she was up against Monique, and it was like, love you, girl, you do not have a prayer. And
you know, for a minute, she was probably like, well, you know, she's not doing any of the press, you know, she's not playing the game. Maybe they're not going to give it to her.
Yeah, right. Lo and behold, Tom Hanks also introduced the In Memoriam segment, which sounded like it was going to be pay tribute to people like John Belushi and Gilda Radner. But instead, it was about inappropriate or cancelable sketches that would no longer play now, like an in memoriam for those kinds of things. I'll be honest, I thought the setup for that bit was funny, like the pivot away from the sincerity of an in memoriam. But then I don't know that I really needed to see all that.
Yeah, I think that also most of those things you could probably still do now anyway.
Yeah, it was a little bit celebrating the idea that like cancel culture people are kind of onto something too, which I can't abide by that in any way. Oh, the best joke of the night, however, was John Mulaney at the beginning.
Yes.
He named how many people have hosted SNL altogether, something like 894 people or something. And he said, and it's weird that only 2 of them are murderers.
Yeah. Notice he didn't say, notice he didn't bring up manslaughter.
That's true. Then you get a whole swath. Right.
Yeah. A lot of reckless drivers.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Are the 2 murderers O.J. Simpson and Robert Blake?
Yes.
Okay. Good trivia.
Yeah. When are they going to team up? In hell.
Hell yeah, right.
Right.
Or
they're
heaven.
both dead, aren't they?
We don't know how it works. We don't know how it works. Yeah.
They're both dead, right?
Yes, they are both dead. Much beloved, not forgotten.
Honestly, great in Lost Highway, though. Shout out to David Lynch.
Oh, may he rest. Yes.
All right. We will be right back. But before that, we have some announcements. This month, Vote Save America is making donations as part of their anxiety relief program to Black-led organizations and candidates of color, helping us gain ground at the state and local level. So if you love DEI like me, get involved. Like Power to the Polls and the Black Male Initiative, which are working to change the way we organize Black, brown, and working class communities to drive voter turnout. Or like Kimberly Pope Adams, who's running for a Virginia State House seat this year, a prime opportunity to expand the Democrats' 1-seat majority. I have to say, over the weekend, I was high and forgot that there is a Virginia.
Yes, Virginia. There is a Virginia.
I was like, West Virginia. And I was like, is there an East Virginia?
Then you went to the hospital? Yeah. There was a woman on Jeopardy named Margaret Shelton who somebody buzzed in on a question and said, what is West Virginia? And they were wrong. And she buzzed in. She's like from the South. She goes, what is regular Virginia? So
With the Anxiety Relief Program, you can set up a recurring donation at any amount that feels right for you, and Vote Save America will use it to build progressive power in 2025 and beyond. Go to votesaveamerica.com/donate to donate now. Paid for by Vote Save America. VoteSaveAmerica.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. All right. When we're back, keep it. Keep It is brought to you by Helix. Louis, you love a Helix mattress. Tell me about it.
Religiously. Picture me jumping onto a mattress, Home Alone style, like jumping up and down on it. Now picture me getting exhausted and then just being face down on it, pressed, borderline drooling on it as I sleep. I do all of the above with my Helix mattress every single night. Go to helixsleep.com/keepit for 27% off site-wide, plus 2 free dream pillows with mattress purchase and free bedding bundle, 2 dream pillows, sheet set, and mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. That's helixsleep.com/keepit for 27% off site-wide, plus 2 dream pillows, sheet set, and mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. That is helixsleep.com/keepit.
You know I love a bundle.
I've never known that about you, but I'm just going to accept this fact.
Keep It is brought to you by Manukora Honey. Honey, 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 honey is what I say when I go outside and I see the bees and I'm thinking about all the honey that they're making for me. Because let me tell you something. I love honey. I put it in everything.
Manukora honey is rich, creamy, and contains powerful nutrients to support immunity and gut health. It's ethically produced by Manukora's master beekeepers in the remote forests of New Zealand, Jane Campion country, where the bees collect the nectar from the Manuka tea tree. The nectar is packed with bioactives, and all you need is 1 heaping teaspoon each morning to get the most out of its amazing benefits. It's a honey with superpowers.
Now it's easier than ever to try Manukora honey. Head to manukora.com/keepit to get $25 off the starter kit, which comes with an MGO 850 plus Monica honey jar, 5 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, and a guidebook. I'm like Dora the Explorer over here, okay? That's manukora.com/keepit for $25 off your starter kit. And we are back for our favorite segment of the episode. It's Keep It. Louis.
Yes.
What's up?
One of my favorite activities is happening in this Keep It, and it is yelling at a list. Oh, I love yelling at a list. Variety did a list of the 100 greatest TV performances of the 21st century. Now, that's exactly the kind of thing I want to participate in. Again, I believe the internet should just be a series of lists that we are screaming about. So this is exactly where I belong. Thank you to Variety for creating the list, whatever. 2 problems. 1, they limited the choices to 1 performance per TV show. Baby, no. Make some hard choices. You cannot have a list where it's just Elizabeth Moss from Mad Men is the only Mad Men cast member on the list. You cannot have just Alec Baldwin on 30 Rock. This list is incomplete without Jane Krakowski on it. This list is incomplete without John Slattery or John Hamm on it too. If this were a good list, it would just include like a ton of people from various different shows. And that what makes it definitive. It makes it feel like you actually fought to get everybody on the list. As such, this is just 100 good performances from 100 TV shows. And I want it to be way more edifying than that. And also, in terms of who got snubbed from this fucking list, how many times do I have to bring up Glenn Close on Damages? How many times?
Patty Hughes.
Yes, I'm alive one time. And I have other things to do. Glenn Close on Damages is her best performance in anything. It's better than anything it's better than Dangerous Liaisons, Fatal Attraction, World According to Garp, whatever. That is where she nailed it. That is where she is the most Glenn Close. She wasn't the wife. She was the Patty Hughes. Okay? That is the best thing she ever... I can't believe it's not on this list. The number 1 on this list was Julia Louis-Dreyfus on Veep, which I'll allow. Great performance, etc. But just... This is, I feel, very stymied by the conditions of this list because there just should be way more performance. Like, Succession only has 1 performance on this list. I'm not even a stan of that show, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Damages is another one of those FX shows.
That's what I meant.
Gone by the wayside.
Yeah.
We need to get all these FX shows like back streaming somewhere.
Yeah, and also the people that created Damages, another show that people forget about, Bloodline. That was also really good. Yeah. I just want to give a shout out to Marsha Cross's Brie Vandekamp. I agree. She is the best performance on that show. Yes. She pops off the screen.
There's some inspired choices on here that I really loved. I mean, Naya Rivera, as Santana on Glee, like she was electric.
It's one of those things where I have to think about it. I'm like, was she better than Jane Lynch? And I have to say, no shade to Jane Lynch, I think she could do that part in her sleep.
Yeah. I think Santana, I think Naya did a beautiful thing of making Santana a bitch, but also vulnerable, which is a teen show standard. But she was really good at it. And
also just that razzmatazz talent. Like she was just a musical star who popped off the screen too. Yeah. And I loved Michael Emerson from Lost being on there. I loved Claire Danes in Homeland. I mean, we don't really talk about Homeland that much anymore, but she was giving shows. Oh, please. I also loved her on Fleischman is in Trouble. Yeah. Yeah. And obviously Michaela Cole's up there as number 11, but there was no Westworld on that list, and I'm happy about that. Okay, a victory. Yes. Tandy Way's best days are yet to come. Yeah. Ira, what is your keep it this week? Okay. My keep it goes to the airplane industry. Not to be Jerry Seinfeld. They're in trouble? Yes. Speaking of Jerry Seinfeld, but what's the deal with airplanes? I just saw one on the news. It was upside down, girl. And I'm not talking Stranger Things. No, bitch. You're right. It's just a treacherous time. And it's one of those things where Trump makes the cuts he does. And then you're wondering, does that directly impact, say, things in the air full of people? Mm-hmm. Someone was asking me last night at a party if it was sort of a coincidence that all this shit is sort of happening now, timed with Trump, because it can't be happening that quickly just because he took office, And I don't know, baby. There's a different plane. There's a different thing with a plane every week. Okay. No, I can't be thinking about Amelia Earhart this much. The dizziest bitch who ever lived. Amelia Earhart to me now. I'm sorry. Somebody should do the animated adventures of Amelia Earhart, and she just keeps getting into crashes.
She's Penelope Pitstop.
Yeah, no, she's like the 1930s equivalent of like the kid skateboarding at the mall and landing on his balls on the rail. That's like the equivalent of her.
I love old-timey mysteries.
Right, because that's when we had mysteries, right?
Yeah.
We don't have anything like that anymore.
She was
like
never seen again. Well, I'm like, there's the water.
right. She's surely on an island. So, or yeah, like the Black Dahlia or like old unsolved Hollywood murders, things like that. We'll never have stuff like. You remember, you just have a good disemboweled person, and we wouldn't know what the fuck happened. Yeah.
D.B. Cooper.
Yeah. Ooh, Slade. Now that's a legend. Talk about a legend. This guy.
My favorite is Roanoke.
Oh, and not the American Horror Story season.
Absolutely not.
No. Bermuda Triangle's another fun one.
Yeah.
Because what's
that
going
one
on
always
over
confused me because people go to Bermuda.
Right. We love it.
Yeah, and they don't vanish.
No. Yeah. Also old-timey plane crashes like Glenn Miller. What the fuck happened there, girls?
Yeah. I knew our rights would be stripped away. Did not think I wouldn't be able to fly.
Right. No, you didn't think you would be the titular spirit of Spirit Airlines, sort of soaring to heaven, if you will.
Baby, Spirit ain't crashing.
No, they're doing just fine. There's like no seats inside, and I think the pilot is like a chipmunk who's drinking a scotch. But you'll get to Fresno.
A friend told me that they watched Airplane for the first time this weekend. I was like, and I couldn't think of a more horrifying film to watch currently, but still a great movie.
Oh, it's painful how funny that movie is. I mean, like, it's impossible to pick a favorite line. Jim Abrams, one of the writers of that movie, directors, passed away recently. Genius, did Naked Gun, etc. I will say my favorite line from Airplane. Okay. Which is, there's the woman who's fretting. She goes, oh God, like she's complaining all these things. She goes, and I haven't met a husband, and she's going through all these things. And then another woman comes up and she says, I'm so terrified. We don't know what's going to happen, but at least I have a husband. Walks away. The meanness of it.
It is a mean film, and bring back meanness in comedy.
Oh my God. At the beginning, when the people on the intercom are talking about the red zone and the white zone and the fighting, and then one of them goes, do you want me to have an abortion? So what? God, they were in their bag.
Really, nothing makes me laugh more than I speak jive.
Oh, Barbara Billingsley came up with the pearls. She said, let me steal a scene. Excuse me, if Isabella Rossellini can get a nomination for Conclave, where was Barbara B. that year?
That is why people need you to write an Oscar book, Louis.
Ugh, God. As you know,
they want to know who should have been nominated, who shouldn't have won for every ceremony. Just actresses, though.
Right? No, exactly. The minute you say, "Oh, you don't have to write about actors," it's like God is in the room. I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much."
You could write like an addendum at the end, like a little companion. The 10 actors who've won Oscars that I care about.
Yeah, right. To put it in airline parlance, there could be a little leaflet at the end. Famous Jewish sports legends, actors I care about. Yeah.